Welcome trainers, I'm Jackie Fox, and today we're going to blow the lid off of one of the best kept secrets in Pokemon Go, and I'm going to show you where you can find all the rare spawns in your area and how to go about that, and how to set it up so that your entire community can do so as well. So first off, I want to say that this episode is going to be controversial. And I want to put out the disclaimer that I'm not making any judgment calls on the way people play. We are going to talk about how this is kind of I don't know whether to say ethical or moral, because we're talking about a game. It's not that serious, but it is a bit of a gray area in terms of, is it cheating or not? So, keep that in mind. Now, personally, it doesn't quite fit my definition of cheating as far as community games like this go, because the way I define cheating is, does it make the game worse for other players? If it's just making it better for you, well, sure, that's an unfair advantage in some ways, and once we talk about this issue, you'll definitely understand how it can be a really big advantage for players that can commit their time to it, but at the same time, it doesn't necessarily make the game a lot harder for other players, even though it does kind of create an uber tier of players in the game. But at the same time, there's always going to be kind of a higher tier, and what I'm going to be talking about is generally available to everyone, even though they tend to be kept secret because, well, people don't want a lot of people to know, because the more people that know, the more strain you have on the servers that run this type of operation, and in addition to that, the more people know, the more likely that some of these things could get shut down, potentially, because Niantic doesn't necessarily take the same gray area stance on this as I do, but it is something that is freely available to everyone, and I'm going to show you how to do it yourself for your town or wherever you play. Today we're talking about something called rocket maps, and rocket maps are kind of the spiritual successor to the trackers that a lot of you guys probably used early in the game while the in-game tracker was broken. Now for me, I think that the in-game tracker works pretty damn well, especially if I'm at a nest or a place that has a high concentration of Pokestops. But something I've heard a lot from the community and a lot from players that said, well, I used to play, that's usually followed up by, I live in a rural area and nothing spawns near me. Which is weird, because I know from personal experience that some of those rural areas get some of the best spawns. You don't know how many weird little neighborhoods I've driven into, how many dirt roads I've gone down to catch Dragonite, Snorlax, Venusaur, things like that. And it's mainly because I have an access, even though I don't use it very often, to this rocket map. If I ever want to go out and have the thrill of catching a cool rare Pokemon, I can turn on the rocket map and find out where that is. Now, my warning to players is that if you start doing this every day, not only are you going to go through a ridiculous amount of gas, because the temptation to dart back and forth across all the corners of your town for all the best Pokemon is very real. It will eat your life, and it will eat your gas, it will eat your paycheck, and eventually you're going to get sick of playing the game as it was intended. It's just going to get really boring when to build gyms or to go out and go to lures or to walk around a park, when you know that it's much more efficient for you to just drive around catching Snorlaxes and Dragonites all day. And I want people to continue playing this game, and I want people to continue having fun. So remember that few things are actually bad if you do them in moderation. But I think that this was called a rocket map because, much like the early tracker, it uses bots or automated accounts that are created in-game that wander around automatically. looking for Pokemon. Only instead of doing it for one person as needed, it does it for everyone all the time, essentially. So at any time you could log in and see something like this. Now you can do a lot of things here. There aren't any gyms in the area that I'm looking at right now, but there's actually a lot of cool options. You can search for a particular team's gyms, find one with open spots or nearly open spots, set maximum and minimum levels, all sorts of stuff. You can also find Pokestops that have been lured, and all sorts of other things. Now the way that this works is by using a legion of bots that constantly wander around looking for Pokemon. And when they find them, they report back to the map and tell everyone in the community that's using the map where they are. And those scan locations look like this. So you can see there was a bot here a little while ago, as is indicated by it being red. It's kind of an older scan, but it didn't see anything when it scanned. And then more recently, when a bot scanned over here, it saw these Pokemon nearby. And you'll notice that these little clusters are happening, or that the Pokemon are spawning near the clusters, but some of them have kind of a wide range. You can see things like Chikorita's a little bit further away. Actually seems to be a pretty big cluster right over here. Good old Smith Level Road. Anyways, that's the way that the rocket map works, and you'll see that even as you move further out into the country, let's get away from the main roads, you're still seeing a lot of things spawn, some of which are actually kind of interesting. I mean, here's a, okay, I don't want the Pidgey. I really don't. You know what? Let's just exclude all the Pidgeys. God bless the Sunker. Okay, anyways, you can see that there's a Scyther over here. I'm sure that you can see that. There is a Pinsir over here, which have actually gotten some pretty decent movesets. I think I'm moving out kind of to the edge of where this map scans. And you can see that there's a lot of interesting stuff popping up. Unfortunately, I'm not seeing anything like a Snorlax or a Dragonite right now. They're still pretty rare, but if you watch these maps fairly regularly or subscribe to maybe a Twitter feed run by a bot which reports from this map, you'll find all sorts of rare things a lot more often than you would expect. You can also see a lot of detailed information on each Pokemon, and really this is a great tool for being able to find those rare spawns near you. I was making jokes about this being a tool of Team Rocket before they officially named it a rocket map, because if you think about it, Team Rocket really spent a lot of time in the anime using robots to try to catch Pokemon for them. Well, we're not quite doing that. It's not like botting or auto-leveling. It's not like spoofing because you're actually driving to the locations. That's why I think it doesn't give you that much of an unfair advantage. There's a little bit of an unfair advantage, but it's kind of like if you consume caffeine before a sporting event instead of full-on shooting up some steroids. It's a little bit different than that, and that's why I think it exists in that gray area. And it honestly makes the game fun for people who may have lost interest, and it makes the game a lot more playable in rural areas. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. Now, check this out. There's a link right here where you can go to their GitHub page, because this is a community-coded project. And this code is free and available for anyone who wants to put up the server time and space, pay for RPMs or reactions per minute that are required to make the bots run. And usually these are done via donations from the people who are actually using the map. And if you get enough people using the map, you'll find that the donation money comes in pretty freely because people are very grateful to you for running this. So if you have any coding experience or you know someone who does and you really want to see this come to your area, start talking to people or start doing it yourself. You have all the tools really that you need because the code, again, is right here at this link. And there's nothing more than the will that is required with this code and a little bit of equipment to run your own rocket map.
Is it just me, or is this guy doing a dab?
So a couple other things to say before we wrap up this video. I recently started a Patreon page. I really have the goal of running these videos ad-free, but I also have the goal of not filming every video on my cell phone. Don't get me wrong, it's a cool cell phone, it has a good camera, but let's face it, this isn't the best video quality that I could be getting. And the thing that really bothers me, and probably my first priority, is getting a better mic. And I would also love to be able to do giveaways for you guys. And I can do all of that stuff if you follow this link, which will also be in the description, to my new Patreon page. And I'm also trying to work out some cool rewards that I can give you guys, like exclusive behind the scenes footage. If you like watching people play Pokemon, that's a thing, I get it. I can also make you logos. I'm working on a connection where I'll be able to print you stickers of your own custom logos if you would like them. I mean, if you have any suggestions, tell me what you would like to see. Another great way to support the channel is to like videos like this and subscribe for more great content. Because I'm just here to help you guys battle with the best of them, and I want to give back to the community that has given me so much in terms of people to play with and so much enjoyment and people to talk to all over the world. Until next time, I'm Jackie Fox, and this was Pogo Fight Club.